Perast is an old town on the Bay of Kotor in Montenegro. It is situated a few kilometers northwest of Kotor and is noted for its proximity to the islets of St. George and Our Lady of the Rocks. Geography: Perast lies beneath the hill of St. Ilia on a cape that separates the Bay of Rossano from that of Kotor, and overlooks the Varia Strait, the narrowest part of the Bay of Kotor. The average yearly temperature in Perast is 18.3 degrees Celsius, and the number of sunny days is 240. Near Perast there are two islets. One is called Sveti Thord and the other Gospod Skrela, and each has a picturesque chapel. Gospod Skrela is particularly interesting given that it is the only artificially built island in the Adriatic, with an area of 3,030 square meters. It was built upon a rock after two Venetian sailors from Perast found a picture of the Virgin Mary on it in 1452. History: throughout the centuries, many empires battled for control of the city. In the 10th century, it was an autonomous city of the Byzantine Empire. From 1186 to 1371, it was a free city of medieval Serbia. It was from 1420 and 1797 under Venetian Republic of Venice and Hungarian control for brief periods, but as an independent republic from 1395 to 1420, when then returned to Venetian control once again. French occupation from 1807 to 1814 was followed by Austrian rule until 1918, when Kotor finally became part of Yugoslavia. The city's 16 Baroque palaces were mostly built in this period, as were its 17 Catholic churches and 2 Orthodox churches. The old city does not have a defensive wall, but instead it has 9 defensive towers, the most important of which is the Tower of the Holy Cross. These were built by the navy of the Venetian Republic in the 15th and 16th centuries. The prominent Montenegrin Baroque poet and theologian Andrea Zedmajovic was a native of Perast. On the 15th of April 1654, an Ottoman force from Herzegovina under the leadership of Mehmed Pasariz van Begovic assaulted Perast. Andrea's brother Krsto defended the city. Andrea wrote a poem, Boj Peruski, dedicated to celebrating this event. Some half a century ago the last remaining copy of this work was lost. Perast was at its peak in the 18th century under the Venetian Republic, when it had as many as 4 active shipyards, a fleet of around 100 ships, and 1,643 residents. At the time the most beautiful buildings arose in this fortified town. Many ornate Baroque palaces and magnificent dwelling houses decorated the town of Perast, full of typical Venetian architecture. The population has since decreased to 430 in 1910 and around 360 today. The fleet was dissolved by the rise of the steam engine. At the end of 18th century, the town accumulated enough wealth that it managed to collect 50,000 gold coins in order to pay the noted Venetian constructor Giuseppe Betti to build them the highest campanile on the eastern coast of the Adriatic. Right in front of Perast there are 2 small islands, the St. George Island with its small church from the 12th century and the artificial island Our Lady of Skrela with a legend surrounding it. On the reef, whose top was 1 meter above the surface of the water, people from Perast had been throwing rocks and sinking old shipwrecks for 200 years, thus creating a plateau of 3,030 square meters, which they then built a church on. The church received donations for centuries and now it is a type of gallery and treasury of various objects. Besides 68 oil-on-canvas works by Tripoko. On the church walls there are 2,500 golden and silver votive tablets which people from the Kotor Bay area donated to the church, in order to avoid various human disasters. Perast had the privilege to use the war flag of the Venetian Navy in peacetime. At the fall of the Serenissima, Perast was the last city of the Republic to lower the Venetian flag. On the 12th of May 1797, the Republic of Venice ended, but a few places in the Albania Veneta for several months still continued to remain loyal to the Venetian Republic. Perast was the last place of the Republic to surrender. On the 22nd of August 1797, the Count Giuseppe Vescovich, captain of Perast, lowered the Venetian flag of the Lion of St. Mark, pronouncing the farewell words in front of the crying people of the city, and buried the Gonfalon of Venice under the altar of the main church of Perast. From 1941 to 1943, during World War II, after Benito Mussolini had annexed the territories around Kotor to the Kingdom of Italy, Perast returned under the influence of Venice, and the area was part of the Italian governorship of Dalmatia. After 1945, Perast was restored to Yugoslavia, and it has been part of Montenegro since its independence in 2006. Demographics. According to the 2003 census, there was a total of 349 inhabitants, divided by ethnicity: 146 Montenegrins, 101 Serbs, 29 Croats, 10 Yugoslavicists, 5 others and 16 unknown. Gallery.